introduction. Yeah, we'll roll from there.
Okay. Hi there, everyone. I just want to welcome you along and thank you for taking the time to join us today. Scott Bywater will be presenting on how to get high-value clients from your email list. Over the past 11 years, Scott has created over 3,476 emails for himself and his clients and generated millions of dollars in revenue. Today, he'll be walking you through his step-by-step process. So welcome, Scott.
Yeah, no, thank you, Nori. Great to be here. And
Yeah,
and sorry, you go.
it's great to have you here, Scott. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, awesome. So I'm glad everyone could make it, and very exciting call that we've got in store for you today about how to get high value clients from your email list. So if you've got an email list, the advantage of this is you're going to be able to take advantage of the information you use straight away. And I think, if you've got an email list, the low-hanging fruit, the easy money in your business is going to be from your email list, because you've got people who know you, like you, trust you, and are going to be far easier to generate sales from someone who doesn't know you from a bar of soap. So you've got credibility, and the biggest barrier to sales in most cases is trust and credibility. So if you don't have an email list, then this is still going to be super valuable, because we all started out without an email list, and this will basically show you how to take that, take that knowledge and apply it. So John just asked, how do you manage your email list, Excel or something else? I'll come to that in more detail a bit later, and if you can just remind me to, Nori, but there's basically, you want to use a customer relationship management software, John, something as simple as, as an Aweber or an iContact, or on the high end, your Infusionsofts and your Entreports. If you Google them, you'll be able to find out more detailed. I think MailChimp is the most popular one for someone who just wants to start out and do things on a low budget. So let's get stuck in. And if you've got questions as you go along, like John, just ask them, and I will get to them. So the bold promise of this webinar is, if you've got an email list, you're probably leaving thousands of dollars on the table. And I don't care if it's a tiny list or if it's a big list. If you're not communicating with them, you're leaving money on the table. And most people could have an email list. If you just took your clients and gathered them, and you go, okay, we've got a client list of 200 here, and started to communicate with them, you would be able to most likely turn those clients into more sales and build that relationship with them. So basically on this webinar, the promise is to show you how to get extra customers with virtually zero outlay, or with very little outlay. So that's what we want to aim to do. And what we'll be covering today, so we're going to look at how I generate a six-figure income every year from my email list, the two best strategies I use for writing emails, which makes it dead easy to punch them out in 15 minutes or less in many cases. So how to come up with 100 email topics in an hour or so. This is a technique which will mean you never run out of ideas, because one of the biggest things which slows down your email writing ability is you sitting there going, what the heck am I going to write about? So we will help you to overcome this strategies. The best type of pages to send people to after your email, how to write a winning subject line, how to sell consistently without coming across as pushy. And all of this we're going to cover today, so stay tuned. Lots of great content and a lot more. So, and as we mentioned before, if you've got questions as you go through, ask them, and I will make sure that I answer them by the end of the call. So my story, how I generate six figures per annum via email. So basically, in a nutshell, I started with 0 emails. I built it up slowly. It basically started with an autoresponder. So it was the early days. I had this little squeeze page which I sent people to. And to give you an example of a squeeze page, let me just let me just go back here. Yeah. So basically, what I did was I started off with a very simple page, and I'll give you. It wasn't this page, but it was something similar to this. So just something along the lines of this. Yeah, collected email addresses as a result of that in return for a bonus of some sort, and I collected an email list. Okay, so now my email list is over 7,000 that I've got on there. I built it up slowly, sent traffic to it, started with an autoresponder, just started to punch out emails, and I'll show you how to do that today, and then eventually moved to daily emails so I could be more current and and that sort of thing. So that's my story these days. I've consistently generated, in addition to six figures of sales per year from my email list. And the reason for that is one thing. The reason I've been able to do that is because of trust. You've heard of the authority marketing. You've probably heard of over the years. A friend of mine, David Jennings, recently came out with a book called Authority Content. Great book. You can pick it up from Amazon. But basically what that's based on is if you are supplying content to a targeted market of people and they're constantly consuming it, then you become an expert in their eyes, so that when you then come across and write something, you've got that trust and you've got that relationship. And if you think of who you want to buy from, you want to buy from people who you trust and who you've got a relationship with. So you want to build that authority. Sort of like if you're going to see a specialist, you don't want to go to a specialist who nobody's ever heard of. You want to go to that specialist who's recognized as an expert. And I don't know of any better way to build that authority with a targeted group of people than email marketing. So that's basically what I have, that's basically the process that I've used, to do that. And I've helped many clients, do the same. And I'll be introducing you to John in a moment, who just happened to jump onto this call, and he'll be sharing some of the results he got just by using just one tiny little technique, which I helped him with recently. So, what's the two best strategies for writing an email? Here they are: talk, write, and time and place. And this is I've literally written thousands of emails over the years, and this is the technique I will often use, or the two most common techniques that I rely on. So let me walk you through this, and then think about whether you want to put up your hand. If you do, just shoot me a quick message and say, hey, pick me, because then we'll apply this to another business so you can see how easy the process is. So let me just bring this across and do it. So we've got talk, write, and time and place. Okay, so now what I need to think of is I need to think of a time and place in my life, and then I can apply it. So let's just put the subject line. So this is literally what I will often do when I write an email. And I'll just bring this up here. Okay, so if I start writing now, I can basically just start doing. Last weekend, or no, it wasn't actually last weekend. So let's say, a few weeks ago, I was at my sister-in-law's, and she has a coffee machine. She made me a coffee. Can you see how there's nothing salesy about this? This is just storytelling. So she made me a coffee, and then Chris has said, pick me. So Chris, get ready. You're going to be next, and we're going to apply this to you. So she made me a coffee. It was nice. So just notice, all I'm doing is I'm talking and I'm writing. It was nice, very nice. And then I thought to myself, why is this coffee better than the coffee at many coffee shops around town? I couldn't work it out. I mean, these other guys are in business. Yeah, and coffee is like their loss leader, you know, i.e. it draws in many other clients as a result of people coming in for a coffee. Not many other clients, many other sales. You know, as a result, you know, and you'll see me segue in a second. You know, you buy a coffee. That's what draws you in. But then you get a sandwich, or a cake, while you're there as well. So as you can see, what we've done here is we've told a story. I've just thought about a story, a random story. Now I'm going to segue. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same with many businesses. We all need our own coffee. Yeah, it's something which we use to draw people in, and which will introduce them to our services. Something that's like chocolate, not broccoli. Something with appeal. What's your coffee? For example, and then I could tell a story, let's say about a client. I won't do it now for the sake of brevity. Tell a story, and then I can segue again into, would you like me to help you find the coffee in your business? Then hit me, then shoot me a reply email. All for now. Stop by. Now I don't know how long that took, or if anyone was timing it, but I can imagine that didn't take me long, right, to actually do that. So you can literally, you can write these emails. I might just expand the view on that so you can see it. You can write these emails easily in 15 minutes once you get in the habit. Yes, obviously I've been doing it for a while, so I'll do it more naturally, but you will too within a once given within a bit of time. So that's fine. So what we so all good. So if we look at now, Chris has said pick me. So let's have it. Let me just bring up Chris, and we will go from there. Oh. Hang on, I'm just going to try and unmute you, Chris. And click to unmute. Yeah, for some reason I cannot unmute you. Let me just see if I can. There must be a way. I don't know if you can try and unmute Chris, Nairi.
No, I can't actually see him at all, Scott. I can't see the attendees as such.
Oh, you can't see the attendees. Okay, let me just click to unmute. It usually just unmutes, so I've got no idea why it won't. Chris, can you tell me, hang on, let me just see if I can let me just see if I Chris, would you be able to just send me send me an email and let me know what your business is, and then we'll do this until I work out how to get this audio working. We'll do this over 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 chat. But what sort of business you have, and what sort of time and place, if you can recall a time and place in your past that you can just tell me about and share with me. So that would be really really useful, and I can sort of dig into it. So to a presenter. Okay, let me see if I can actually make Chris a presenter, and let's see if that helps. Chris,
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be playing very well today.
Yeah, let's see. Let's just give Chris a go at presenter, and let's see if we can hear his audio then. Okay, you're going to miss the screen. Chris, you there? No, that doesn't work. Let me just...
Yeah, it has, Scott.
Oh, hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Although it's tried to put my screen as the presenter instead of your screen.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We will keep me as a. I think we'll swap it back to me, but let's chat a little bit, and then I might even switch you off and then type out your story. So tell me, what sort of business do you have?
It's a tender management consulting and training business. So I help tradies how to respond to tenders, and I either work one-on-one with them or train them how to respond.
Okay, awesome. So basically, you do tender management. You help tradies, respond to tenders and that sort of thing. So that's great. So can you remember a time and place when you were talking to a tradie and he was asking you questions in the past?
Every phone call. Yeah.
Tell me about it. Now I'm going to start typing. Not everyone will be able to see that, but then I'll be able to switch it back over in a second. So Colin said I can still make my screen as active screen while Chris is speaking. I'm not sure how to do that, but if you can shoot me an email and let me know, Colin, I'll definitely do that. So yep. So Chris, fire away.
Okay, so I had a phone call from a potential client one day, and he'd just been given a tender, and he brought the tender to me and he said, Chris, I'd really love to be able to respond to this tender. It's for a great company and show my business in a great light and all that sort of stuff. So he sent me the tender, and I had a look at it, and I asked him a few questions about his business. So I asked him questions like, do you know what this particular client's objectives and what they're trying to achieve? What are they? What's going to make it so they can so you can hit their hot buttons? So he went through and he told me what their objectives are, and that was really good. He'd had great meetings with them, so he knew what the objectives are and what their hot buttons were. Then I asked him a question about how are they likely to leave their current provider of the service. Why would they leave? Why would they add risk to their company by moving from their current provider to you? Are they unhappy with their current provider? Are they not getting the service? Are they not getting the information that they need to be able to hit their hot buttons? And he said, well, no, they seem quite happy with their current provider. And I said, well, so there's no real compelling event. That's not a good thing. Why would they add risk to their business? And then I asked him to demonstrate that he's been able to do this particular type of work before. So he went through his testimonials and he went through all his clients, and he couldn't demonstrate what they could do. in this particular section. And I said, look, you know, there's no compelling event. You can't demonstrate you can actually do this. This is not the right tender for you. Even though you really want to, it's not the right tender for you.
Yes,
So then
yes.
you go for it.
No, beautiful, beautiful. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you my screen in a second. Because and I'm just going to close off as well. I'll close off actually when we get on there. So I'm going to pull back. Can you reject being a presenter? Is it asking you to be a presenter?
I've just put it back to you. Yes.
Yep, so I'll show my screen. This might cut you off, but you'll get to see what I've written. So thanks so much for that. That's awesome.
Not a problem. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
No, you're welcome. No problem at all. Okay, so if you're still on, Chris, that's fine. And I think you are. Are you still on?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So we can move anyone across to being a panelist and do it that way to achieve our objectives. So what we've got here, if you look here, what I've done, and I haven't typed it out perfectly, but all I've done is I've basically typed out what Chris has just told me. So I've said a few weeks ago, I was at my, sorry, that's what I said. So here we go. And we'll come up with the subject line in a second. But this is basically what Chris said. I had a phone call from a potential client on Monday, and he just got a tender and bring it to me and asked, Chris, I'd love to respond to this tender. He sent me the tender, and I had a look. I asked him a few questions about his business. I asked him questions about his business like, do you know what this client is trying to achieve? What is it so you can hit their hot buttons? So he went through and told me what their objectives are. And we had great meetings with them, and he knew what their objectives and hot buttons are. I asked him a few questions about, are they likely to leave their current provider to you? Are they unhappy with their current provider? Are they not getting the service? Are they not getting it? I asked him to then demonstrate how he was doing this type of work before. So he went through his testimonials and he could demonstrate. So I said, and he couldn't demonstrate that he could. So this needs to be tidied up a bit. That he could. So I said, this is not the right tender for you. He was quite grateful because he would have invested 7 hours on average creating this tender, and at his hourly rate, that equated to $1,562. $62. Which that he could spend on getting more tenders. Would you like? Are you uncertain about an upcoming tender? You uncertain about throwing yourself into an upcoming tender? Then go to the link and fill out the checklist. And obviously you need to create this, to see if you should.
Yeah.
All for now. Chris. So can you see how we did that? And I don't know how long that took, but it's 12:56 now, and I've done 2 emails, basically. Not perfectly, but that's in half an hour, as well as the introduction and all the other stuff we've done. So can you see how easy that email is to write, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. That I must admit, I use that story when I'm talking to in my training, but I hadn't actually thought to put that story into an email out to my list.
Yes, exactly. So this is what it is. So if you sit down and you just think of things that have happened to you in the last month and just write them down, and maybe get some biography questions. If you look up biography questions on Google and answer them, and you will have literally 100 times and places in your life that you can then refer to and write yeah, and using your email. Now, what's the subject line? Well, I think when not to deliver a tender. Yeah, or when delivering, because you want the subject line to pop, right? So when delivering a tender is just plain dumb. And you've got that. It's entertaining. It's interesting. It makes it all. It's a story, and it engages. Do you know what I mean? So, and that can be done very quickly. Now, if we want to sharpen this a bit, we could go. I've got to tell you, I just had the strangest thing happen. I had a phone call from a potential client, and you could give it a bit of excitement and jazz it up a bit. Do you know what I mean? If you wanted to. So, and throw in a few things like that, because it's like, I just had the strangest thing happen. That sort of incites curiosity. Do you know what I mean? So, so you can do all of these things, but that's the essence of it. And if you follow this process, you'll be writing better emails than 95% of people.
Awesome.
In terms of your doing. So and you can punch them out, once a week minimum, I would suggest, but you could punch them out several times a week if you wanted to, and you'll deliver that relationship with your target market. So let's continue on. So talk right, and time and place. So the next thing is, how do you generate 100 email topics in an hour? Well, I've just shown you, really, because you just go through and you create all these times and places. But what I've also got here is another concept, which is along the which is along the lines of the talk right, which is a totally different strategy. So let me bring this one across. Let me bring another Word document across, or actually that same Word document, and I'll go through the 8x8 strategy for that. So let me just bring this across. So we've got the 8x8 strategy. And the way the 8x8 strategy works is you basically come up with and you identify 8 topics. So 8 specific topics that are relevant to your business is what you want to do. So in terms of the eight topics, if I was going to do it, let's say if I look at, I could talk about, let's say, Facebook advertising. I could talk about email advertising, email marketing. I could talk about, and I won't do 8 here, but I'll just do the top ones to give you a bit of an idea. I could talk about, headlines. I could talk about, marketing strategy. Now, if we look at, coming up with 8 ideas, I mean, you can probably you probably know a few of them from what we've come at from here, and one of the strategies that we've got, quite frankly, is the talk right. So I could do a whole email on talk right, which we've just discussed, and I could do a separate email on the time and place, and then I could do a separate email on the 8x8. I could turn this webinar into a series of 8 or 10 emails effectively. That's something which could be done really easily and really simply. That could be done. So, and as you can see, then I could write about, the segue at the end of the email. I could write about, email openings. I could write about the PS in the email. There's literally no limit as to what I could talk about, when it comes to, the, into the email. So I could go down and down and down. Likewise with headlines, I could talk about the 4 U's, which is useful, just in case you're interested. Useful, unique, urgent, ultra-specific. That's what you want your headlines to do. And it's the same with your email subject lines. Is it useful? Is it unique? Is it urgent? Is it ultra-specific? And I'll touch on that a bit later if we have time. So we've got the 4 U's, and well, I can talk about the importance of specificity. I can talk about the four-letter word, which is critical in headlines that nobody really knows about. And if you're interested, that word is this. It's probably the most powerful word that I've seen used in headlines. I didn't pick that up from any book or anything. I've literally written thousands of emails over the years for a large natural health company in the States, and seen the split test results, and that curiosity, I could write about curiosity. So there we go. So as you can see, I've just come up with like 10 ideas for headlines, right now. So just literally while we're talking, I've come up with with that many topics, for creating emails. So that's how easily, that's how easy it can be, to create the topics, for your for your emails as such. So let's what was the 4-letter word? John's asked. 4-letter word is this. So let me give you an example of that. I can say, this technique is the best way to write a headline. What does that do? What does that do for you? It brings up curiosity. It's like, hang on, what technique are you talking about? Well, it's this technique. Yeah, but so you need to know more. You need to know more. You want to know more, and if you want to know more, then then you're hooked to read the next line. Because that's the aim of a headline, is it's just to get you to read the next line, to dig deeper into into what you're into effectively what you're doing. That's what you basically want to do with your with your headline. So that's the 8x8. That's the 8x8 strategy as such. So let's keep digging in and go to the next stage. So how to write winning subject lines. So I've touched on that a little bit already, but let's have a look. What will get them open? What will get the right people to open? Okay. So let's go back to our example. From earlier. So if we bring that up. So if we look at this, so here. So if we look at this, for subject line, actually let me give Chris's example. That is probably a much better one to use. So if we look at Chris's example in the subject line, we've got, when delivering a tender is just plain done. Not a bad subject line as such. Now the other thing that we could say something along the lines of, so we look at the 4 U's: unique, useful, urgent, ultra specific, and we can come at this from a number of different angles. This tender would have failed. How to tell if you're going to waste your time on a tender. I'll expand this just in case you can't read it on your screen. Okay, so how to tell if you're going to waste your time on a tender. Here's a simple thing. What do people hate? They hate wasting their time. How to tell if a tender is hopeless. How to tell is if a tender is hopeless. What about emotions? Let's touch on emotions. He would have been furious if he completed this tender. You know, so we've got this. He would have been furious. He would have been angry with himself if he actually completed this tender. So I've got to note that the sound quality is degraded. Let me just try something here. That might be better. I think I might have. Yeah, try that should be better in terms of the sound quality. Let me know if it is. So much better. Okay, great. Okay, great, excellent. I've got some good feedback on that. So yeah, it would have been furious. So we're bringing in the emotions here. Another really good word is don't touch a tender if it looks like this. Another one is, because we've got some questions in there which Chris asked. So 3 questions you should ask before you do it. Before you waste time on a tender. So what you can do is you can come up with the headline beforehand, or the subject line before you get stuck in, or alternatively, you can come up with it afterwards, and you can just start writing based on a time and place or an overall theme. Generally, you'll come up with a much better headline if you do it later on in the mix. You'll create a much better headline because you've got more to, or subject line, because you've got more to more to fall on, if you like. So that's a really good way. You could say the number one mistake people make in writing tenders. And what is it? Writing ones you should never have written in the first place. So you could literally have something along those sort of lines. So that's a really powerful thing that you could test as well. So there's a number of ways of approaching a subject line. So if anyone wants to pop the type of business that they've got in here, and I'll play around with just some subject lines for your business. Let me just have a look at some of the ones from earlier. So we've got tender management, corporate trainers, brain-friendly training. Like this, you could tell a story, let's say, about mistakes that corporate trainers make. The number one worst mistake corporate trainers make before a talk. The more specificity, see how I've said before a talk? The more specificity that you can have, the better. So let's say John with the River Cruises travel agent, you could say something like, the worst thing you can do before you jump on a cruise. This mistake can ruin your cruise. His cruise turned into a nightmare because he did this. And you know how John and I were talking the other day. If you sit in a particular part of the cruise, you're near the John's an expert on picking cruises and that sort of thing for people. But if you sit in a certain part of the ship, you're near, you get the smoke from the staff and that sort of thing. So that's a perfect one. His cruise turned into a nightmare because of this, which could be used, which is a nice, exciting sort of product and that sort of thing. So we've got sales of lead. I'll just go. So we've got home delivery fruit and veggies. So we could say the worst. And I don't know if this is true, Arlene, but let's just this vegetable looks healthy, but it's not. And maybe you could talk about, I don't know, like some vegetables are sprayed with so much bad chemicals or something like this. The worst type of veggies you can buy if you live in Queensland. So there's an example. So you can see how it, you want to read that. You really want to read that and know what it's about. So we've got legal management. Karen said legal practice management software. So from a legal practice management software position, we could say something like, the number one, the number one. Let's say organisation mistake lawyers make can cost hundreds of dollars an hour. And once again, what do you see with all these? It's all curiosity. You need to know. In order to know, you got to click through. If we go custom-made blinds, now if we're doing an email, we might be talking about a client and they bought the wrong type of blind for their house. It was the wrong color. How to pick the right, the no regret technique. The no regret technique for picking the right color of blinds. So you got, it's like, what's this technique? Or how do I do it? All of that sort of thing. And then you could walk through how to pick the right color and you could tie it into a story. Association of walls and ceilings, Doug, wanting to increase memberships. It's an association to increase memberships. The number one mistake, ceiling, wall contractors. I'm not sure if I quite understand this, Doug, but it can make in 2017. And it could be, not advertising as much and or not having a big enough support network, and then you include some proof elements about about how having a support network boosts sales and et cetera, et cetera. So Tracy, machine quilting supplier of products, and equipment. So you're supplying products and equipment to machine. So I imagine this is to companies that make quilts or something like this. The worst equipment mistake people make when creating quilts. So that's one. Then we've got next generation CRM software application. CRM is sales. This is a huge sales mistake. Almost every, and I would put type of business, like niche it if you are in a niche type of business makes, and that might be not using CRM, not following up, and then you can give an example, or he would have made an extra $120,000 if he did this. And you could talk about how in 2015 he didn't have CRM, and in 2016 he did, and how much of a difference it made to his specific business. The world's first business networking relationship management software beyond CRM. So networking relationship management software. So what I would do, Brian, is I would talk about some statistics for networking and how, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and then I would maybe show, this is the easiest way to increase your sales, but hardly anyone's doing it. Or the ultimate unfair advantage in in industry, or this is the stupidest thing you can do to sell something. And you might talk about cold calling being stupid, and networking obviously gives you a much warmer warmer opening. So education furniture with Chris. Hey Chris is a client of mine. So yeah, education furniture. We could say something like, so we're targeting sort of, you know, libraries and principals and this sort of thing. Yeah, the worst classroom layout mistake you can make. You could say punctures children's learning ability. You know, or where never to put the whiteboard in your classroom. Or why smart boards, this, doing this with smart boards makes them stupid. So as you can see, there's a number of different angles we can come at this from, to get that punch come through. So with your subject lines, and this applies to headlines as well, if you're writing ads or websites or whatever, really think about, like doing this with smartboards makes them stupid. If you're a school principal, you want to read the next line. You want to find out, what it is about smartboards, and it might be, hey, if you place them in the wrong position, or you do something, specific with those, smartboards, it makes them ineffective. But really finding what that is, I think that's that can be very, very powerful. To have that sort of thing, in place. So that's in terms of subject lines. We can do so much, so much there. So then we've got how to sell without coming across as pushy. Really, the key here to selling without coming across as pushy is you're telling stories. Like if you'll notice with the story I did with Chris earlier, it wasn't a push sell. It was just a simple story and then a segue at the end. And if you constantly create stories like that, and start to write, because it's like, don't sell me. Tell me a story. Tell me something which is going to make things interesting. Because really, what have we grown up with? All of us. We've grown up hearing stories. And if you've got a young child, you'll know from experience that what a young child loves is when you sit down and you tell them a story at night. And I know my son, I used to tell him this story about the stinky pond and all of this sort of thing. And he still, to this day, he loves that, he loves that story. So you've got to come up with interesting stories. And one of the tricks to coming up with interesting stories is, write them down as they happen. Take your smartphone and take your smartphone with you. I mean, most people already have their smartphone with them, but use your smartphone and just make notes. Oh, someone was rude to you at the restaurant. Make a note of the story. You will find that you have hundreds and hundreds of stories. If you start doing this, do this for 30, 60, 90 days, and you have a story happening every day. You have stories going on in your own mind, at times. You have stories going on all the time consistently. Stories are everywhere. So really think of those stories, because I think you'll find that they just pop up everywhere when you start to pay attention to them. And that's the key, is paying attention to those stories. So very, 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 very easy to do once you start to get into this. Now, the best type of pages to send people to after your email. You want to you don't want your email to be, to be pitching all the time. You can do it. You can just say, hey, shoot me an email if you're interested, or if you need something, or if you want something. But you don't have to do it. Do it that way. So the other way is, like, if I go here to, if you have a look here, scottbywood.com/proof, or scottbywood.com. I'll show you a few pages which I've got. So this one is like, all this is it's a testimonial based page. So if you go here, you just shoot all you've got all these testimonials here from different clients, and then there's a form that can be filled in at the bottom of that. So that's somewhere where you could send them. Now, in terms of here, if we go here and we go to proposal secrets, let's say, here's another landing page which you go to if I'm talking about proposals. So for you might have several different services and several different hot buttons that you can send people to. So in John's case, in travel, he might have river cruises, and he might have Hawaii trips, and he might have trips to the Bahamas or whatever, and he can have several different pages, so that when he's talking to Hawaii, he sends people to a targeted Hawaii page. When he's talking about the Bahamas, he sends people to a targeted Bahamas page, and so on. So you're going directly, to a specific page that you're sending people to. So that's that's something that you can do. Now, Chris has just asked a question. How do you make emails personal when you don't want to put a specific person's name in, so all inquiries don't end up with one person? I mean, I would recommend, you can put your company name. I would recommend against doing that. I would recommend doing it with one person, but that doesn't mean that that person needs to handle all the inquiries. So if I generate a lead, there's no reason someone else can't do the follow-up on that specific lead. So if it was me, I would choose someone within your organization who the emails come from, the spokesperson, preferably the owner, so then it's more personal. And then when the leads come through, they can be divvied up to whoever, sort of thing. And you can talk about that. Hey, if you're interested, email us back, and we can get a team member to come back and get in touch with you. You can do it from a company. I know people who do, and it works. I just think the personalized version is more effective if you're able to if you're able to do that sort of thing. So that's worthwhile doing. So but this way, by sending them somewhere else, you're not pitching in your emails all the time. So you keep them conversational, you keep them relational, and they just refer to your individual pages where you can sort of do things for them and that sort of thing. So that's effectively what we're doing. And in the same fashion, if you need more help, take a look at either scottbywood.com/proof. So if you've watched this webinar and you've gone, there was some really useful information, but geez, I need more help, or I need a campaign done for me, or whatever, go to either of these pages, scottbywood.com/proof, which is the one I just showed you, or launchtofunnel.com. And what we can do is we can help you. Now, we can help you from start to finish. So, so Nari and I sort of work in tandem, where we can help you with the strategy, we can help you with the copy, and more importantly, we can put the whole thing together for you. So if you need Infusionsoft campaigns to follow up, if you need a Facebook campaign to bring the leads in, whatever it is, if you're like, how do I set up an email order, we can help you with this across the board as a team to make it all happen for you. Because I know the techie stuff is quite challenging for people for people these days. So that can be that can be quite quite challenging for people sometimes. So audio is gone. Can anyone else hear me? Oh, okay, good. So the audio's okay now. That's good. It's back. I must have. Okay, I'm not sure where it left me. So maybe if someone could tell me how long I was gone for, that would be awesome. So yeah. So John said, remember, people tend to check emails by who it is sent from. So important to stay consistent with sender. Yes, totally agree. You want to keep that consistent, because what will happen is people look at, even more important than the subject line, and this is why it's important you get your emails right and they're always delivering value, is they look at the sender. And if you look at who you get it from, if you see something from Scott Bywater, and I've sent some good emails beforehand, you go, hey, I'll click at this and take a look. Whereas if I've sent nonsense to you for the 7 emails beforehand, you just disregard it, and even if you don't unsubscribe, you just don't open it. Or you disregard it. So very, very important here. Yes. So people prefer to deal with people, is what Brian said. He also said think of Telstra. But absolutely, you want to be doing it human to human, is ultimately the way that you want to do it. So as part of a special offer, as a part of this webinar, what we can do is, if you go to this link as well, I'll just bring this link up now. This is if you go to, and the link is, I'll just put it in here, it's smarturl.it/book my call. I'm going to shoot this through just in case you can't read it. Let me go Control-C, Control-V. No, yes. So if you look in your comments section, that link should come to everyone. So John has asked me if I want to share his experience. Yes, I do. One of the problems I've got at the moment is I've lost audio, but I should be able to transfer it through to you. So you can hear me, but at the moment, for whatever reason, I can't hear you. And rather than trying to sort it out, I thought I'd keep talking. But I'll see if I can swap this over to you, John, and you can just tell everyone your experience before we go. So if you go to that link which I just sent through, for the next for the next 24 hours, you fill in this form, and I'll do an email strategy. I normally charge for this process, but I'll do an email strategy call for you at no charge, and then we can see if we're a good fit. So if you go to that link, do that in the next 24 hours, fill it out, and then we'll go from there. So said it's Karen's saying link not working. Let me just try again. If that link doesn't work, just go to one of the other ones, the scottbywater.com/proof, or try the other one, which I just put up on the page. That one should be working. So let me know if anyone else has problems with that link. What I'm going to do, John, I'm going to send this across to you, and then if you can just let me know if the audio is, or I'm sure everyone will let me know if you can hear John. So I will invite. I'm going to invite John. Let me just see if I can make John a attendee, and then you can have a chat with John, because John has a really, really good story to tell about just how effective it is. John, are you under John? I just want to make sure I've got the right. Yes, you are. So let me just see if I can make you the presenter. Are you sure you want to make John the presenter? Yes. So I'm going to make you the presenter, John. You should be able to, now if you accept, or you should be able to talk, I'm thinking. I won't be able to hear you, but everyone everyone should be able to. It says, let me just see what it says on your end. Attendee is self-muted, so you'll need to unmute, and then we'll be able to hear you, from there. So so let me just see if John can unmute himself. You might just need so presenter has control. You're self-muted. So John, what you might need to do, there might be a green button there or something, and if you click on that, yes, you're unmuted. So everyone should be able to hear you. I'll keep quiet. And let me know if you can hear John, if someone can just send it through so I know it's not just blank.
Yeah, can everyone hear me? Yes, no? Let's hope that you can. We'll work on the fact that you might be able to. The results from the email the other day, we went out to a list that was 1,900 people we hadn't had a mail to for over a year. They downloaded a free report from our River Cruise website, Best European River Cruises. We had, it's about 47% open rate now. And it was, bear in mind, a bit over a week. Had 2 new leads this morning, but we had about 200 and, I think it's 4 on there. That was 2 days ago. It's now up to about 208. We've had 23 yeses. I think it's 33 people for the 1 to 3 years time to do business with us or interested. We had 12 no for booking. We had a 12 no, actually it was probably about 80 something note, 86. And then we had around 50, early 50s opt-outs from the list, which is amazing considering I've never seen an email from me for over 12 months. So, and again, the email was a very, very short one. I think the actual email said, "Are you interested in a river cruise?" And I think that was it. And bang, we got all this incredible response. So amazing, Scott. And of course, we've got the follow-up sequence, and we'll be inviting these people to complete a deep dive survey and then to a webinar. So not sure I can say any more. It's a bit strange not having any talk back or sound. So put it back to you, Scott.
Yeah, no, I'm on now. I swapped over to my phone, so there's been a few technical issues, but it's gone reasonably smoothly. So thanks for sharing that story, John, and that's awesome that you've got. What's the size of your email list? Like, what have you generated that from?
1,900, but I think Carlia said it might have only gone to 1,600 for some reason. But I mean, it's a list that, as you know, we hadn't. And before that, 12 months, there was probably only thing that had ever been emailed was specials. So it had never been cultivated or nurtured or anything of that nature. All it got was once a month, it got what we call our inside deals, which are unique deals that we get from a larger supplier in Australia of a distressed inventory. And often it was 2-for-1 prices and that sort of thing. But we didn't even send any of those out in the last 12 months. But that's all it had received. It downloaded a report over the last 3 to 4 years and then done that. So great response and lots of encouragement. Actually got 2 new leads this morning, ironically.
Oh no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And this is the power of this sort of stuff. And literally, John and I, had a chat on the phone. We identified this strategy. He sent it out, and bang. So if you've got an email list, the leverage is there. It's just getting the right sort of guidance on how to use it and opening up that relationship. So hopefully in a future webinar, where I'm working with John now on actually running some webinars to your list, we'll be able to share some even more exciting stories going forward. So that's great. And the aim too is to use your email list as a learning process. So what we're looking to do with John, if you don't mind me sharing, John, is do webinars to his list, but then take that out to cold traffic, and we're starting to do that with my list as well. And some of you here may not be from my main email list. We've been doing some advertising on Facebook and that sort of thing. So once you find something that works to warm traffic, if it doesn't work to warm traffic, don't bother with cold traffic, because it's like if you can't sell something to your mum, don't bother trying to sell it to everyone else, because your mum loves you and trusts you. So that's what your email list is like. But then the way to really scale is to take it out to cold traffic and make $1 back for $1 spend. So that's a potential of that email list as well. So so that's very, 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 very effective. So we might just what I might do, I might just bring Nairi back in to see if she, I don't know if you can, can you unmute yourself, Nairi, and you might just want to finish off with any closing thoughts or idea, or anything you want to share. Unmute. No, so I think you're self-muted, Nairi. It might be. Oh, I can't unmute for some reason. So no, that's fine. So just in closing, if you need anything, if you'd like to know more, just go to the and this is the same with your emails, guys. So you give content, give interesting stories, give usefulness, build that relationship, which is critical. And then do a soft sell to your, to the next stage. So if you'd like to know more, just go to that link that's been sent through to you in the comments, in the comments section, or just go to scottbywater.com/proof. Fill in either of those forms in the next 24 hours. And we'll do a quick, providing you qualify, we'll do a quick, complimentary consultation with you. So, and what I would love to get, thanks for your, thanks for your feedback, everyone. What I'd love to get is any more feedback, on this, this webinar, what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like, and any other webinars you'd like to see in the future. Dr. Kushti's just asked how to get more email addresses. My answer to that would be, probably the best way is, and the fastest way is to advertise, on Facebook to a targeted audience, to a squeeze page, or do joint ventures. Create something of value, like whether it be, a free report, a webinar, whatever, and send people, to that. Now, a good autoresponder to start with, I would say, is something like, MailChimp, if you're really in the starting phase. ActiveCampaign would also be worthwhile researching, and Aweber. So I would recommend considering them. So that's all for today. Great to have everyone on the call. Chris has said, great webinar, Scott. Appreciate being the opportunity on the call live. Great to have you on here, Chris. Been awesome to have you, have you on here. Dana said, thank you very much. John Cook said, thank you. Excellent. If you're B2B, LinkedIn, Brian has said, LinkedIn can be very good for generating leads and that sort of thing. Tracy said, thanks, never stop learning. Brian McGugan said, I have 20,000 on my email list. Brian, shoot me an email, because we could do a lot with 20,000. If you've got 20,000 and they've got some sort of warmth to them, we could really work wonders for you. I already have. Okay, excellent. No, we will be in touch. We'll be in touch shortly. That's awesome. So so that's great. So so all for now, guys. Have a great Wednesday, and keep an eye out for for future webinars, and of course future emails from us. Thanks all for now. Cheers.